My fellow Americans, this message is one of the most important I've ever shared with you. I want you to listen very carefully because what I'm about to say could decide the future of New York City, maybe the future of America itself. This isn't politics as usual. This is about survival. It's about truth, and it's about saving our great nation from people who want to tear it apart from the inside. Before we get into it, I need you to do something. Subscribe, like, and join the membership right here on this channel. We're building a movement, not just of voters, but of patriots who love America, who care about truth, and who are tired of the lies coming from the fake news media. When you join, you're helping us fight back together as one family. So take a second, hit that button, because in a few hours, maybe less, New York City could be facing one of the biggest disasters in its history. If this radical socialist Zohran Mamdani wins the mayoral election, and I'm not saying that lightly, I built my life in New York. I know the city like no one else. I've seen its rise and I've seen its fall, and what's happening right now breaks my heart. Now, let me tell you exactly why and what will happen if we don't act. I remember standing on Fifth Avenue looking up at the skyline. My skyline, the towers I built weren't just steel and glass. They were symbols of American greatness. People came from all over the world to see New York, to feel its power, its beauty, its freedom. It was the beating heart of the world, strong, confident, unstoppable. But today, when I walk those same streets, I feel something different. I feel sadness, fear, anger, trash piling up, crime everywhere, stores boarded shut. People who once smiled now look over their shoulders. Mothers clutching their children tighter on the subway. Elderly men afraid to step outside after dark. It's not even safe during the daytime anymore. That's what the Democrats have done to New York. And if this man, Zohran Mamdani, wins, it won't just stay bad. It'll collapse completely. He calls himself a democratic socialist. That's just a nice way of saying communist. He wants to take your hard-earned money, your property, your freedom, and hand it over to bureaucrats who never built anything in their lives. He wants to destroy the police, raise taxes sky high, and punish success. When I built Trump Tower, I created jobs, dignity, pride. I gave people a chance to dream big. But under Mamdani's plan, dreamers will be punished, builders will be broken, and the city I love, the city we all love, will turn into something unrecognizable. You see, this isn't just about politics, it's personal. New York is part of who I am, and I can't stand by and watch it die. When I woke up this morning, I got a report, fresh from New York. It said businesses are already freezing their plans. Investors pulling out even before this election is over. They're scared, and they should be, because if Zohran Mamdani wins, it won't just change New York, it'll destroy what's left of it. You see, people don't understand how fragile cities are. You push too far, raise taxes too high, weaken the police too much, and it all falls apart. I watched it happen once before. In the 1970s, New York was bankrupt, filthy, dangerous. People were leaving by the thousands. Then years later, I helped rebuild it. My buildings brought jobs, hope and pride back. But now, Mamdani wants to undo all that, to erase decades of progress in one election. He says he'll tax the rich to make things fair. But what happens when the rich leave? When jobs vanish, stores close, and families can't pay rent? It's not just numbers, it's real people. The waitress who can't afford groceries, the young man whose dream business collapses under new regulations, the single mother who walks home from work terrified because there are no cops around anymore. This isn't fairness, it's cruelty disguised as kindness. And the media, silent. They won't tell you the truth, but I will. If Mamdani wins, the cost won't just be dollars. It'll be dignity, safety, and hope. Just this afternoon, I spoke to two retired NYPD officers, great men heroes who gave their lives to protect that city. One of them looked me straight in the eye and said, Mr. President, if Mamdani wins, New York will burn from the inside out. I'll never forget his voice. It cracked when he said it. These are men who've walked those dangerous streets, who've seen mothers crying over their children shot in broad daylight, and now they're being told they're the problem. Under Mamdani, the police won't just be defunded, they'll be defeated. He wants to replace real law enforcement with what he calls community safety networks. That sounds nice on paper, but you know what that means in real life? No police, no backup, no safety. It means a 911 call that never gets answered. It means a store owner beaten in his own shop with no one coming to help. I talked to a woman today, single mother from Queens, who told me her little boy doesn't want to go to school anymore. He saw a man get attacked right outside their apartment, broad daylight. And this was in what used to be a safe neighborhood. She said, Mr. Trump, I can't sleep. I don't feel safe here anymore. That broke my heart. This isn't the America I fought for. It's not the New York I built. We stood for law, for order, for peace, not for fear. And if Mamdani takes over, that thin blue line that protects every good New Yorker will vanish like it was never there. This afternoon, I sat with a small group of New York business owners, men and women, who built everything from scratch. One of them, a deli owner from the Bronx, looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, Mr. President, if Mamdani's tax plan passes, I'll lose everything my father worked for. You could see the pain on his face, the kind you can't fake. This wasn't about politics. This was about survival. Mamdani wants to raise taxes to 52% on hardworking people. 52. That means if you earn $1, you keep less than half. It's robbery in daylight, taking from those who build to give to those who don't. He says it's about fairness, but it's not fair when families who work 20 years to save a home are forced to sell it because the government wants more. Imagine the ripple effect, stores closing one by one, families leaving empty office towers with for lease signs covering the windows. It'll be the death of New York's middle class, the real heartbeat of the city. And once the middle class is gone, everything falls apart. I remember when New York was the city of dreamers, when ambition meant hope, not punishment. I lowered taxes to give families breathing room. Mamdani would suffocate them. He doesn't understand that when you punish success, you destroy opportunity for everyone. And when that happens, New York's greatness, the city that once built America, collapses under its own weight. A few hours ago, I met a young college student from Brooklyn, tremendous kid. She told me, Mr. President, I'm afraid to speak my mind at school. I asked why, and she said, because if I say I support you or America, they'll cancel me, they'll call me names, they'll kick me out of class. Can you believe that in the United States of America, in the city that gave the world the Statue of Liberty, a young woman is scared to speak freely? That's what happens under the kind of ideology Mamdani wants to bring to New York. He calls it progress. I call it control. He wants government not just over your taxes, your business, or your home, but over your voice. He's part of that far left crowd that thinks patriotism is hate, faith is danger, and free thought should be punished. They don't just silence you, they shame you, they destroy your reputation. They make you afraid to love your own country. I fought for the forgotten men and women of this nation, the ones who worked, who prayed, who spoke from the heart. Under me, you could say, God bless America without fear. But under Mamdani, say something the left doesn't like, and you're labeled a criminal. This is not the New York we built. This is not the America our soldiers died for. If they silence the people today, tomorrow they'll silence the truth itself. Earlier today, I drove past a small construction site in Queens. Quiet, almost lifeless. A few workers stood there, hard hats in hand, just staring at the unfinished building. One of them came up to me, tears in his eyes, and said, Mr. President, they stopped the project. Investors pulled out after hearing Mamdani might win. They said, New York's not safe for business anymore. I'll never forget that face, calloused hands, dust on his clothes, but pride in his voice. That man wasn't asking for a handout. He was asking for a chance to work, to live his American dream. And that's what's slipping away under Mamdani. That dream, the dream I lived, the dream millions built their lives around will vanish. He wants to strangle real estate with taxes, freeze rents, and scare away the very people who create jobs. Imagine a city where cranes stop moving, where buildings rust mid-construction, where for sale signs cover every street corner. That's what happens when you replace opportunity with envy. I built New York brick by brick, deal by deal. I know its heartbeat, its ambition, its pride, its believing that no matter who you are, if you work hard, you can rise. But Mamdani wants to take that away, punish those who dream, reward those who don't. If he wins, the skyline won't grow taller, it'll grow darker. And with it, the light of the American dream will start to fade. Just a few hours ago, I was briefed on what's happening at the edges of New York City. Thousands pouring in. Buses lined up from the border, packed with people who have no idea where they're going. Mothers with children crying, men sleeping on sidewalks, police overwhelmed, shelters bursting. It's heartbreaking, and let me tell you, under Mamdani, it's about to get 1,000 times worse. He's calling for open borders inside a sanctuary city. That means no limits, no screening, no safety. He says it's about compassion, but it's not compassion when American families can't afford rent because taxpayer money is being poured into endless welfare programs for people who just arrived. It's not compassion when veterans sleep under bridges while city hotels are filled with migrants on the public dime. That's not America, that's chaos. I met a small business owner from Staten Island today, a quiet man, proud of his country. He told me his family came here legally from the Dominican Republic 25 years ago. He said, "Mr. President, I followed the law. I waited years, but now I feel like a fool because under Mamdani, laws mean nothing." That man had tears in his eyes. And that's what's so cruel. When the people who love this country the most are punished for it, under Mamdani's rule, borders vanish, crime rises, and the city collapses under its own weight. New York will not survive another wave like this, not without leadership, not without love for America. Today, during one of my briefings, I heard something that truly broke my heart, something every American, every New Yorker should hear. A small Jewish bakery in Brooklyn, family-owned for 3 generations, had its front window smashed last night. The owner, an old man named Eli, told reporters, "We used to feel safe here. Now I'm scared to open my own shop." And you know what's terrifying? Under Mamdani's New York, that kind of fear will become normal. He calls it free expression, but what he really means is hate without consequences. He stood on stages beside people who chant against Israel, who call our closest allies oppressors. That's not freedom. That's poison. He's defended radicals who want to shut down churches, silence rabbis, and mock Christians for praying in public. He's even suggested that faith, the same faith that built America, should be redefined to fit his politics. Let me tell you, when they take away your right to pray, they take away your soul. When they shame you for loving God or country, they break something inside of you. I saw it in Eli's eyes, that feeling of betrayal. Under my leadership, we protected churches, synagogues, mosques, because faith is what holds a nation together. Under Mamdani, it will all unravel. The light of belief, the freedom to worship, gone, replaced by fear, division, and Hachi. If we lose that, we don't just lose New York, we lose America itself. This afternoon, I spoke with a retired NYPD officer, 30 years of service, a hero who gave everything for his city. His hands were shaking as he told me, "Mr. President, I don't even recognize New York anymore." He said the same streets he once patrolled with pride now feel like enemy territory. He can't wear his badge in public, not because he's ashamed, but because he's afraid. That's what happens when leaders like Mamdani turn their backs on the brave men and women who protect us. When the police lose faith, the people lose safety. When the people lose safety, they lose trust, not just in the system, but in one another. That's how great cities die, not with explosions, but with silence. Neighbors stop talking, families stop believing, hope disappears, one heartbreak at a time. And the media, they won't tell you this. They're too busy protecting Mamdani, painting him as some visionary. They won't show you the mother who locks her door 5 times before bed. They won't show you the store owner sweeping up glass after another looting. They won't show you the tears of the policeman's wife who just wants her husband to come home safe. But I'll tell you the truth, because I love the city. I built it. I walked its streets. I believed in its people, and I will not stand by while one radical turns New York's heart into ashes. A few hours ago, as the sun was setting over the skyline, those tall, proud towers I once helped build, I looked out my window and thought, this is the city that made me, the energy, the people, the dreams, all of it. I remember walking those streets as a young man, shaking hands with iron workers, listening to waitresses who worked double shifts, watching families push forward with nothing but faith in their hearts. That's the real New York. That's the soul they're trying to destroy. When I talk about Zohran Mamdani, I'm not just talking about one man. I'm talking about an ideology that wants to tear down everything that makes America strong. They want to erase hard work, punish success, and shame love of country. But New York, our New York, was built by the dreamers, the doers, the believers. It was built by people who refused to give up when everything was against them. Today, I'm not just warning you, I'm reminding you who you are. You are the heartbeat of America. You are the spirit that never quits. And I promise you, as your president, I will fight for you every single day, for your jobs, your safety, your freedom, your families. Because if we lose New York, we lose America. But if we stand together, we can save it. We can rebuild it. We can make it shine again, stronger, freer, more beautiful than ever before. If you love this country, if you believe in faith, family, and freedom, make your voice heard. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join the membership for exclusive updates, behind-the-scenes messages I can't share anywhere else. Comment Save New York to show you're part of this movement. Together we'll make New York great again, and we'll make America greater than ever before.